Hi friends, this is Angelica. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working with the brand new Distress Spritz. I have two colors that I am going to be using on this project, and I'm just going to be experimenting with them. So scrapbook.com sent me three colors. This is Barn Door, Walnut Stain, and Uncharted Mariner, which, if you're not familiar with my channel, Uncharted Mariner is my favorite color in the Distress line. So I was super excited to see that color. I'm also going to be using scrapbook.com's mixed media paper. The first thing I need to do is swatch these colors out. I had no idea what this spritz was, so I was going into my projects completely blind. So the first thing I needed to do is swatch them out. So I sprayed the panels first with the spritz, and I noticed immediately that this spritz, it really does not move. So if you want the colors to move, you will have to spray it a little bit with water, or that's what happened in my craft room. So, and another thing I noticed is that these sprays are gorgeous, but they don't bring a lot of pigment to the paper. So I'm just going to do all three of the colors, so I have an idea of what the colors look like dry. And what I did do is I sprayed one panel just with the spray, and then I did a second panel for each color where I sprayed the spritz and added water to get it to move. And I also pulled out my blow dryer, my travel blow dryer, because it doesn't get hot like my heat tool does, just to see how well the spritz and the water combination moves on the paper. Now let's take a quick look at the swatches. The first, or the one in my right hand, is just the spray, and then this one is with the spray and the water. And you can see when I put that panel to the side, you can just see that pearlized shimmer to the panels, and it's just stunning. So the Uncharted Mariner was gorgeous. Barn Door, beautiful. And I did get a lot more moving action with the water with the barn door. And then Walnut Stain was really interesting. It wasn't as shimmery as the other two colors, but when I moved on to the black mixed media paper, I was shocked. I was blown away at how bright these spritz were on the black paper. So again, I'm starting with Uncharted Mariner. I did do a heavy spritz and then followed that with water. Now I'm not really going to move the panel a lot to get the water and the pigments to move. I just let these dry flat. Look at this barn door on the black. I mean, it's so pretty in person. And I think this is the one that shocked me the most of how just bright it was on the black paper. The Walnut Stain, I really wasn't sold on it yet. But since I had it, I was just going to keep playing with it. And again, so pleasantly surprised of how beautiful this was on black mixed media paper. So I did let the panels dry, and this is them dry. Well, pretty much dry. The brown panel was still a little damp, but I mean, look at that shimmer. It is just so stunning. And then when I didn't do a heavy spray of water, it just left those just dots, kind of like when the rain dries on your car and you get those watermarks on your car. It's exactly what it looks like on the mixed media paper. Now I'm just going to focus on Uncharted Mariner, and I'm starting first with translucent Crackle paste, and I'm spreading a thin layer of that paste on mixed media paper. I'm going to use my travel blow dryer on a low heat setting to dry the Crackle paste, and it dries really quickly. And I put that back in my spritz box and gave it a nice coat of the Uncharted Mariner spritz, followed it with water, and I'm going to tilt the panel back and forth just to get the pigments to move, or the pigment to move. And I want to see if the moving the panel around helps get the color down into the cracks of this paste. There is still a lot of water on the top of this panel because of the crackle paste. So you can see I can really get that all that liquid to move around with the blow dryer. So I'm going to take a paper towel and just remove the rest of that color, but I'm not, I'm doing swirly motions with a dry paper towel. I'm not bringing a wet towel to the panel. I'm just doing a messy wipe, and then I'll put the panel aside and let it dry. And I just loved how that panel turned out. Definitely my favorite out of everything that I made in this sitting. I also wanted to see what the Uncharted Spritz looked like on top of an ink blended panel. I am using Uncharted Mariner, Peacock Feathers, and Salty Ocean. So I have 3 different blues or blue tones on this panel. And once I get my blend done, and I got a little fancy here, even though I knew I wasn't going to be using this whole panel on a card base, once I finished doing the blending, I'm going to put that back into the box, do a nice coat of the Uncharted Mariner Spritz. I'm going to follow it with a little bit of water. And then I picked up the panel to start letting the liquid move back and forth. And I realized, you know what? I really don't want to do that. I don't want to move the Distress Oxide inks. So this is what it looked like when I just let it dry on its own. I put it aside, let it dry. Loved the colors. Reminded me of ocean water. So I pulled out Well Hello stamp and die set. And I'm just going to make an ocean scene with that panel. I pulled the 2 whales from the stamp set and stamped them onto white paper. I colored them pretty quickly with Copic markers. I haven't colored in a couple years, so I'm not going to get really into coloring. I just used some gray markers. I did do a lot of dotting. That way the whales had some texture to them. And once I was done dotting with colors, I went back and did some dotting with the colorless blender too, just to give the whales a little bit more character. For the sentiments, I couldn't really pick a sentiment that I wanted to use, but I love the font that is on the Well Hello stamp. So I stamped them with Distress Oxide inks, and I did decide to go with the Well Hello just because that font is, I love it. It's so fun and playful. So the first panel that I was thinking about using was the Crackle paste panel. So I die cut a frame. I used the nested A2 arches die set to die cut my frame. I started with white cardstock. I thought it was a little boring, and I had those really pretty black mixed media swatches off to the side. So I pulled the brown one because I thought the brown would be really interesting with the blue. I went up 1 size in the nested arches die set, and I die cut that panel with the larger die. I'm going to use a little bit of glue to get the larger frame in place on top of the white frame. And I'm not a big fan of using a lot of glue on my paper products project. So that's why I just used a little bit of glue, and then I have double-sided adhesive around all the edges. I'm going to just pull the backing off of that adhesive and then push the frame firmly down on the white frame. And now all I have to do is get this frame over the panel. I did go back and forth on whether or not I wanted to use the Crackle paste panel, but I love that panel so much I did not want to cover the edges with this frame. So I took the Uncharted Mariner black swatch and I resprayed it. I think I did 2 more coats on it and just let the pigment move because I did a heavy spray of water also, just to build that color up for this really dark blue evening sky look. I also die cut the inked panel with the wave die and attached the waves to the background, got the frame on. I used 2mm foam adhesive to attach the frame, and then for the sentiment and the well, I used 1mm foam circles. I love how this panel turned out. This little well is so adorable, and that sentiment, that font is so fun. This panel is so shimmery. I'm showing that in the light. And of course, I could not let this Crackle paste panel be put aside. So I just stamped out another whale, colored it, got another sentiment die cut, and then I still had some blue left over of the inked panel. So I die cut the waves and quickly put this panel together too and got it on a card base. And I love it. This is my husband's favorite too, so this is probably going to end up in his lunchbox. That is going to finish this video. I will have everything linked down below in the description. I will also link scrapbook.com's coupon page. There is a big sale this weekend, so there will be a sales code so you can get a discount. And if you're watching this after the sales weekend, still head over to the coupon page to see if there is a code for future sales or if there's free goodies you can throw in your cart before you check out. Coupon page is just always a great place to stop by when you're shopping on scrapbook.com's site. That is all that I have for today. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care, friends.